And then let me share my screen. And get in presenter mode. Come on, y'all. All right, welcome to Black Wall Street, Texas, our weekly meeting. Thanks for all who have joined the call, and we're super excited that you're here with us. You know, we always start out with the welcome to the event, welcome to the page. Now, we're gonna start with our prayer. If anyone feels that they are compelled to open and lead in prayer, please unmute yourself and go ahead and pray for us. If not, that means I will do it. I will step up and pray for us to have a successful meeting today. Oh, Heavenly Father, I want to take this time to stop and thank you for all the many blessings you have stored upon us this past week, the ones that you're about to store upon us in the future weeks. We are coming together here as like-minded individuals in a spiritual movement of uplifting and honoring those who have gone before us, those who are supporting the movement, those who are just coming into the movement. Look over them, oh Heavenly Father, and bless them. Bless them to continue to move forward with what we are doing here with Black Wall Street, Texas, and Black Wall Street, USA. These and other blessings we're asking in our Son, Jesus' name, amen. Now, we're going to review the 7 spiritual markers, which are the guiding principles for Black Wall Street, USA. They are Spirit of the Lord, Spirit of wisdom, Spirit of understanding, Spirit of counsel, Spirit of power, Spirit of knowledge, Spirit of fear of God. For an in-depth understanding of these different 7 spiritual markers, you can definitely go to blackwallstreet.org and read those 7 spiritual markers. Now, we're going to transition into the introductions. Now, here with the introductions, if you have multiple businesses, we ask that you only focus on one of the businesses while we're in this space, simply because we're just limited on time. I will start and lead as a model of how the process goes. What you do is like a 1-minute elevator pitch. It's all about your company, what it is you do, and how we can help you while you're in this space. I will start off today. I'm talking about my business, which is Community Connectors, LLC. It is a community development company where we focus on providing families with access to resources to build stronger communities and families. We're based here in Texas, and we provide educational resources. And we're looking to do business with you. If you're in the Houston and surrounding area, we're about to do a community development project, and we're definitely open to adding additional businesses to collaborate with us. That is Community Connectors, LLC. Next person, feel free to unmute yourself and share your product and or services.
Hey, this is Karen from CoreFast Tax. The business I would like to highlight today is my tax business. And so we have probably a little under 3 weeks left to get your taxes done. So if you need help with your individual or business taxes, reach out to me at corefasttax@gmail.com. That's KOAR fasttax@gmail.com, and I can help you get you filed before deadline. Thank you.
Awesome. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Apostle Deborah Anderson, and I'm here in Houston, Texas. I am a licensed life insurance agent and also certified mobile notary. So if you ever need notary services, definitely reach out to me. And I also have an online school of ministry for men and women. school is the Ambassador School for Apostolic Women Birthing Nations. And maybe at the end, they can cheer an event that we have coming up. Dr. Little, I need your email address. I've been sending you emails and they've been bouncing back. So if you can put that in the chat, I'll get that. But it's good to be here this morning. Haven't been on the meeting in some time. God bless.
Thank you. I would definitely get my email sent to you. I'll drop it in the chat. Next, go ahead and introduce your business, your elevator pitch.
Good morning. My name is Derek Walker, currently based in Dallas, Texas. I work with individuals and institutions who have challenges with seeing how to continue to develop economically and sustainable and viable businesses. I work with them to overcome micro challenges and help them by developing some sort of strategy, business plan, and do this through coaching, one-on-one sessions, and continued advising.
My name is V. Decatur, and I'll mention Cafe Restore today. It's an arm of our property retention business where we actually assist residents with their pro se court cases to get their properties restored. We teach them how to use loopholes to uh, to turn around the loopholes that have been used to steal their properties under title and deed theft.
Okay, thank you all for sharing your products and services. Now we're going to move into our discussion phase. And with the discussion, we normally start with our old business, and we're going to do the same thing today. Start with old business with the UEI number, which is one of those components that's very integral. If we're looking to do business with the government, we have to make sure we have that UEI number. And let's talk about the activity. Has anyone used their UEI number this past week? This week, I have not used the number at all. So has anyone else used their UEI number? All righty, then we're going to move right along. Next, using chat. Well, they say chat. It was ChatGPT, but it's AI technology. Has anyone used AI technology in their business this week? I'll share. I've used AI, Ask AI, because that's my favorite platform to use. I've used it with doing a follow-up email to send to the commissioner, and I used the technology to clean up my letter and to make sure that it was clear and concise, with thanking him for giving us the opportunity to meet with him. So that's how I used the AI technology this past week. Anyone else use AI technology in their business?
I didn't
Jack-
say use it, but I did share with people who might have been having a roadblock on trying to accomplish something, and I just shared how much it could help them get past that roadblock and get out your head. Like if you have a lot of ideas that's going on in your head and you don't know quite how to put it or what order to put it in, it's definitely something that you can kind of just spill it to AI and say, hey, help me with this. And it'll help you organize, which will help you with your clarity of what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, I love ChatGPT and all the technology that AI gives us. I'm developing some online content digital content and creating digital products for my school. So it's able to create for you. You can write a whole book in 10 minutes using ChatGPT. It's very, very resourceful, and I'm also teaching a lot of our students, how to use it as well. But I love it.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Anyone else before we move on to the next? Okay, let's talk about our political connection outreach. And I'm going to share, last week I shared that I had a meeting scheduled with the commissioner. I'll start out when I scheduled the meeting, I scheduled it not only for myself, but for some African-American males, some youth that I'm working with on creating skills for them, because our males are lacking skills and tend to not have the support that they need. And so I was trying to connect them with a positive role model so that he could give them feedback and encouragement to uplift them. We had it scheduled for 7 African-American male. Now, the time that they gave us was conflicting for 3 of them because they were in school during that time, because they're high school gentlemen. And so the ones that showed up, we had 2 to actually show up, be on time. They were dressed appropriate. What's interesting is I started working with not only the young men, but also with their parents, because the parents have to be supportive of what I'm trying to do and when I'm working with their kids. No matter how old they are, they're still their parents' child. And so when the boys got there, they were typical teenage boys, meaning they were dressed, they had their phones. They were more engaged with the phone than being present with me or the person sitting next to them. So what I did was took that as a teachable moment. I was sitting in the chair, they were sitting on the sofa, and it was like they both were just in their phone. So I took a picture of them to let them see what that looks like. And also I say, stop it. Introduce yourself to each other. Practice here. Before we get into the room, we can start practicing what you're going to say when we get into that space. And so they was like, oh, I say, from the time that you enter a building, when you have to be intentional and know that people are watching you. And if you're going to be in your phone, what's the point of being here? You have to be present when you're entering these different meetings. So the guys put their phones away, they introduced themselves to each other and start practicing what they were going to say when we got into the meeting. And when we got into the meeting, of course, they were nervous, and it was one of those situations that I had to tell them, it's okay, because this particular commissioner, he comes from education. So he understands children. So they got in, and what he allowed them to do was their elevator pitch of why they were there. And they had prepared a little bit with their resume. One of them was a college grad. He was a recent college grad. The other one, he's still in high school. And so the time was during high school time. So he asked him, how are you out of school? And he was like, he was a senior, so he had that period off, and that his mom brought him, which spoke a lot about the parental involvement. She's really engaged with him and trying to help him to become a better individual. So with that meeting with the commissioner, he was very positive, not only with the students, he was open to my idea of doing the intern experience, is where we're looking to do internships in Fort Bend County. Now, with Community Connectors LLC, this is how it ties into what I'm having a conversation about today. We're going to be doing a summer intern program. What we're targeting is to engage those African-American youth who do not even know about internships and the opportunity to get it. We're gonna do extreme engagement, is what I'm calling, with to get our African inner city youth engaged with paid internships. So being that I'm in Fort Bend County, I not only want to do the inner city, but I also want to do the outreach in the county where I live, in particular in the area where this commissioner is supportive of youth engagement and building up our African American males. So he was super excited to support it. He took on a task from me to connect me with the WorkSource Commission team to talk about getting them paid for the internship. And so we're moving forward with that, and we're working with two of Houston's most prominent developers, and they're in support of the project as well. Womack Development and Mayberry, who are really influential in the Houston area. So they're supporting the intern experience. So we'll be moving forward with that. That particular political connection was key with doing it in Fort Bend County. So we're looking forward to making other connections in Houston, especially the Third Ward area, because that's where they are located in Third Ward. From that, I've had a lot of good connections this past week with the city of Houston and the business certification. That's another thing I'll talk about when we get to the open discussion. Does anyone else have any political connections or outreach that they would like to discuss?
Good morning, it's Derek Walker. Yesterday evening, I had a chance to speak with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett regarding our independent media, particularly Black media, and galvanizing them and us as the portal for sharing information to our people, and really spoke to the strategy of that. Um, More specifically, it's a concept that I'm calling the Underground Railroad, where we stop utilizing mainstream social media as means of galvanizing and organizing our people. Because what's happening, just like with Target, they're seeing the traction, they're seeing they're, how do I describe it? It's almost boycotting of sorts, or fasting, maybe another more effective term, but looking and stop and not utilizing mainstream media, because when they see the messages and see what's going on, there are counter practices that happen from a legal standpoint with policies and politics, and also people who infiltrate what we're doing as a means to disrupt it. And so utilizing much of the opportunity for in-person and offline communication and strategy to be executed. I personally have been operating in this manner for the last 7 years, and have just communicated the significance and the importance of utilizing mainstream media to almost throw off where we're going, to redirect to where we're actually going and what we're actually doing. I call this strategy the Underground Railroad. The less that is known from the public, the better we are able to move and galvanize and organize overall as we share and disseminate information. If you notice, policies change, the rules change when we start to have success at it. There's a conversations often happen about how and why Black athletes are able to excel well. And it's, some would say it's genetics, some would say it's conditional to their body type, or just the ability to be physical. But I would counter to suggest that the rules are very obvious, and there's some sort of equity that exists with the understanding and dissemination of those rules, laws, and information. And so once we get better with understanding how these policies impact decisions, the idea of boycotting is not just a actionable thing, but it's a mindset that is enacted within our personal families and our personal lives. And then finally, I've spent a lot of time looking and listening to the World Economic Forum. I would encourage everyone to listen to it. I know we have opinions about the current administration and their president. I'll be honest, it doesn't matter, because they're moving and the emotional response to that doesn't galvanize and move us forward. So just encouraging that with her from a media standpoint, information standpoint, sharing standpoint, and understand that decisions have to be made, and decisions are being made with us, with or without us in mind.
That's so good. You know, I know my husband always talked about how we need to have a language that, you know, everybody has their own language. And so that we need to create a language that we can communicate amongst ourselves, that only we know what it's saying, in order for us to make movements in, you know, like, you know, boycotting Target and Best Buy. You know, we made it publicly that we were doing it, but just think if we had something underground, like you said, and they wouldn't even know what hit them because we're not sharing it. We're keeping it amongst ourselves. And I think that would probably make even more impact than some things that we're trying to change.
And I'll share this, that NAACP, you know, I work in multiple groups. NAACP is getting ready to create an organizing strategy in which they're bringing different leaders together to train them. So if you all are members of NAACP, here's an opportunity to collaborate and get the training and be on one accord. So I am going to apply for that organizing thing that they have going, to learn the strategy so that I can be able to bring it back to our group as well. And if anyone else is a member of NAACP and interest, because I love organizing, I really do. And I do it with different groups. But when I saw this opportunity and that they do have grant funding available for it, and it does require you to have to travel, and they cover the travel expense too. I think it's Boston, and then one is Jackson, Mississippi, two of the trips that it supports. So I would encourage you, if you're into organizing, to join NAACP if you're not a member. And if you're a member, look for the email, because they send out the email about the strategy of organizing and coming to collectively together to do it, to impact our community. Okay.
If I
Anyone
could
else?
also add to that, there's a history of these organizations and how the galvanizing happens. These organizations also infiltrated. What we have organized is our families. It is important that we prioritize doing these strategies and operating these strategies and implementing them with our families first. There are people we live with, we're already organized with. It's important that we start there. Having that training and working with these institutions, without a doubt, is going to be a benefit. And us as individuals, as we are doing right now, and then going to the next person who we see when we get off this call and saying, hey, what can we do together? What can we organize? What can we do and commit to over time that is going to put us on this pathway to make sure that we're not just overcoming, but I think even moving from the idea of overcoming, and just really understanding that we have somewhere to go, and really identifying what that destination is, and just utilizing the individual power, the family structure, and the organizing of doing something together.
All right. That is true.
Awesome. I'm so inspired and so excited to hear this part of the conversation. What we're doing is in the church, you know, we're always looking at the state of church, state of nation, state of the church. I believe this is our finest, our greatest hour. And what this administration really does not understand is we don't need y'all. They're dealing with issues and tearing down monuments and taking down pages, you know, of our heroes, our ancestors, you know, of the past. But we're so far beyond that, and nothing can stop us. I'm so glad that we're in this place right now. This is the kingdom age. I'm also an apostle, and so we're galvanizing. and having these underground meetings. Derek, man, I was flicking my mic listening to you talking about that underground railroad, because that's exactly the way we're moving. We are in a modern day underground railroad. There are many organizations, many groups that are having this conversation and that are moving, underground. I'm getting text messages. I don't even know how I got connected. I think it was through the Win with Women that Kamala Harris started. And so there's a great movement happening. The key is for us all, especially now, to encourage our families, our friends. People are not as spiritual. They are not in this space, that we understand we are kingdom citizens beyond church members. And so we are moving in it. I've got a class coming up April the 14th. It's called the Legislation Generation. And so this is where we're having those discussions and building those leaders to have that kingdom mindset and understand our kingdom citizenship with this great takeover. Whatever they're trying to do, it's not going to work. The more they afflicted them, the book of Esther, the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. Maybe it's Genesis, I don't know. But we're in that time of Esther. We're going before the king. I'm excited. God bless you. Yes.
Anyone else want to add to the conversation?
Yeah, Sister Dr. Little, how are you?
Absolutely amazing. I'm
You-
living my best life ever.
That's good. I just enjoyed what said. Apologize for being late, but I am so excited. It just came on, and I'm excited for what I've heard. In terms of organization, as you know, and I know, Dr. Little, our Veterans Service Organization, that organization that helps veterans transition, I need to be more organized. I'm in tune with what you have to say. That the meetings that's coming on with the NAACP, I would like to be a part of that. But the gentleman, I'm not sure who that was, that mentioned about, we have overcome, and we love that. We have overcome, and we have to overcome. And I just want to say that we have already overcome. So we asking people to come on over. So we come on over so we can continue to take over. And the lady that said that they can tear out all these things, but we still moving on. I mean, it's just so great to hear that people like yourselves, like on this line, are hearing or talking about. They're talking about taking over, not just come on overcoming, because we already overcame, but now the takeover, and to show the people just not just of color, but people in general, that we have such great value, we have such great history, that we don't need anybody to identify us for us. As you know, I'm military. I'm straight up military. Why God put that in my heart, I'm not sure. But when he tore down the names of those forts, like Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort where's another Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, and Fort Lee. These are the names of generals of the Confederate Army. The Confederate Army, they promoted slavery. And these names, these forts was named after them. So ex-President Biden came down and he changed the names to names that has to do with slavery. So this administration came right back and put the names back on. That shows you how people need to see how they are so against Black people. So anyway, I'm not trying to start anything here, but just let you know that I am so grateful for what you're trying to do, Dr. Little. And I'm right there with you wherever I can. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm not sure if I made sense, but I just had to speak out of my heart. But I'm right there with you. We taking over. We're not coming over. We taking over in the name of Jesus. In that kingdom-minded business, it's the kingdom of God that we are operating in. It's the kingdom of God that we are operating in the kingdom, not in this world. And it's rich. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited.
All righty. Thank you so much, Ms. Manning, for sharing that passion with us. We really appreciate you and the work that you're doing in the community as well. Anyone else want to add to the conversation where we're talking about political connection and outreach that you've had this week?
It's Derek again. One thing I think, well, not just think, I've done and executed and just understand the benefit for is to share with our younger generations and just current generations, our older generations as well, the political process. When students, I work with some high school students, and I work with the city of Dallas. And when I shared with them, I said, "Well, you see this theater right here, you or the mat where the Mavs play, you own that because you pay taxes. When you buy something, you pay taxes, and your taxes go to support that. So you technically own that." And when I shared with them, I watched their mind. Um, Open up and unlock to see and understand something that they didn't even know to consider. Along with that, I think it's very important to consider as we identify some of these political fixtures and influencers and people is that they share what this process is for becoming an elected official. What ends up happening, we talk about the voting part of it. The voting part is one of the final parts of it. There are other parts that go along with it, with getting your signatures, with getting these approvals, being in position to become the person that can be voted for. So now we're not just teaching them the idea of consuming as a voter or making a decision as a voter, but making a decision to become someone that they can be voted, to become someone who can be voted for. And positioning them to see that pathway will allow us to kind of, I'm saying, future proof what's been happening as far as the current administration. And if I'm honest, this administration ain't very different than any others. We just have an opinion about the people who are in there. And what I'm saying overall is that there are people who are right around us and near us within this political system who understand how to operate it. That's the information that should be shared and considered. Because for me, once I realized what it took to be the mayor, well, it was simplified. I knew I could move in that direct path, and I didn't have to guess and try to figure it out. We shouldn't have to be replow fields that have already been plowed and seeds have been planted. So that's another strategy of consideration as we have these political connections, to invite them to share what the process is. If you got elected, you knew what to do. Share that.
Mhm. Yes, for sure, for sure. Anyone else want to add to the conversation regarding our political connection and outreach activities? Okay, and now we're going to move and transition into new business. We always start with the new business. Our takeaways from Mr. Nathan Daly's call, the last call. I was on the call, and to me, he focused on FEMA and getting in touch or getting certified in different FEMA courses and being prepared for emergencies. So for those who didn't have an opportunity to join Mr. Daly's call, you can go back to Black Wall Street to listen to the recording. He definitely focused, and he had a guest too on with him. The guest had been on once before, and if you were on the call previously, it was like a refresher to remind you of the different resources that FEMA has available and to get in tune with getting positioned to get the funding. So anyone else want to add to what Mr. Daly talked about on Monday? It was definitely a refresher from the previous FEMA discussion. Okay, no one want to add regarding Nathan Daly's call? Then we will move and open the floor for open discussion. And when we do open discussion, this is where if you have something that you're working on and you want to share strategies, get feedback from us on ways to do it better, things like that, If you have a problem in your business and you want to get some feedback from someone that's on the call, that's what the open discussion is for. So we can open it up and engage in open discussion. And I will start the open discussion today because I'm super excited about the intern experience, because this is an opportunity for African-American youth to get paid internships. So I'm super excited to be working in line with those real estate developers as well as with the commissioner. And one thing that I'm looking forward to doing is putting together the blueprint of how we're doing it, so that we can share it with communities. Once we've succeeded with the model, we can share it with other communities, those underserved, underrepresented communities, to show them how they can do it as well. Anyone else want to add? This is what I've done so far. The first step was to get the buy-in with the businesses that would support hiring interns, because a lot of times people don't want to hire kids, young, inexperienced individual, because sometimes older adults don't have the experience, but this will give them an opportunity to get the experience. We're targeting those students who are 17 to 25. That's the target area that we're looking to get engaged in the intern experience. And it will be various businesses coming together to provide them with not only the learning opportunity, but to be able to pay them. That's why we're collaborating with them and looking to get the workforce to support them so that it's a paid internship. And because, people volunteering now looks a lot different. They're not excited to just go volunteer their whole summer. They're looking to be paid. Anyone want to add to the intern experience? Any suggestions on what I need to be doing next? I'm working on the application now so that we can take applications. We're gonna go, I have a timeline. First, the month of March, we're just getting commitments from companies to participate and accept an intern. Then the month of April, we'll be doing outreach. We're targeting specific schools in the inner city that has high numbers of kids, that we're targeting those who are not selected for interns. We're looking for those schools particularly to do the outreach with the counselors. So the month of April, we'll be doing the groundwork of going into the schools, sharing it with the students. And the way I believe in engaging students, when you're there, we'll have a QR code. If they're interested, all they do, they will have to sign themselves up. And with that, I know I worked in the school system. I know the time to get them is when they're all together during lunch. You get that mic, you drop that screen down, tell them, hey, here's the opportunity. Those who are serious will scan the QR code and get pre-registered. Then we will follow up with those who pre-register in April. May, we will start interviewing and looking to actually implement the program in June. So that's the strategy that I have now. So for the month of March, we're just getting commitments from companies to take the interns. Okay, anyone? I see you have your hand raised, Derek. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. If you will consider, it's called CTE, Career
Okay.
Technical Education. Many of the districts have this. In fact, the TEA is moving toward this type of programming and this segment of programming for students for career readiness through exposure. One of the ideal ways is to, yes, have these internships and also create a relationship where these organizations can come into these schools and share with students what type of opportunities exist. I've done this. Most of the largest employers in cities are the actual city, and so working with each one of these departments in the city for the city and saying, hey, we've got, some students interested in finance. Each one of the departments is a career field, is a career industry that can be targeted and worked with. And those are direct, simple ways for community engagement. And so working with some of the city, working with some of these organizations and institutions and businesses, reaching out to their community engagement as a means of connecting, not to sell, but just to let students know about career and really workforce development opportunities is where this is going to go. The internships are cool and they sound cool. The process for that can be require some time. And so I think that is a solid and very significant long-term play. And for the short term, these students just need to see new faces and other people on these campuses because they are literally sitting in classrooms in front of computers looking like factories. And I'm saying this from not just an idea. I've sat in these schools all over the state. I did some work with Texas Can Academies, and they have an accelerated program. Even if we start there, because I know there's some campuses, there's a network in Houston. Starting there, we'll get some of these students exposed to just having and seeing other ideas and possibilities. And the final thing is hospitality is a huge industry that is on the brink of really generating tremendous amounts of money. One, it's part of the World Economic Plan that I kind of listened to from this current administration. America has what's called FIFA, is pretty much the world event. The Olympics is coming. In fact, America's celebration is coming for 250 years. And so all of these things are centered around events. You can be a ticket taker at any age. You can be a person who's a hostess and applying for those jobs and connecting with the city venues and spaces. You can do that at any age. In Dallas, we have the fair here, and these families pretty much work for 30 days out of the year and able to sustain and maintain for the rest of the year. Now, their quality of life, we may have some opinions about it, but what I am saying is that there is an economic model and a process and a pathway for them to generate revenue that can do something right now to give them some dollars and put them in a position to see a pathway forward and upward. And so it's called CTE, Career and Technical Education, in every district in America really has something related towards that.
And thank you for sharing that, Derek. I am actually connected with the CTE program here in the county, but we've been working with them with the filming part of it. We have 2 students that are currently working with us on doing the documentary for Gaia's birthday experience. So I am tapped in and connected with the CTE program. Now, the inner city one, I will have to go over into the area 3rd Ward, identify the schools and see how their program is set up and who the person is. So I would make that my homework assignment. My takeaway from today is to go into HISD because we're in Fort Bend ISD over here. But to target and work with those students, I will go over and do that as well. Okay, Mr. Manning, go ahead. I see your hand is raised.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Little, again. And the gentleman that just spoke before about career technical education, thank you for that. I wasn't aware of it, but now he's making me think that I know some people that might be interested in that type of program. But to you, Dr. Little, there's a lady I would love for you to introduce you to. Her name is Lieutenant Colonel, retired Lieutenant Colonel Jackie Gillian. She's at this high school over here in Houston area. It's called Westville High School, and she's in charge of the ROTC. I'm sure she would just greatly love for you to come in and share what you have to say regarding this internship with her ROTC students. I've seen them, seen them in action, nice young people. So I just want to let you know that that is another avenue that you can go down or approach those people with. Her name is Lieutenant Colonel Jacqueline Gulia, and she is well organized. She's a very organized person, just like yourself. So if you want to, I can introduce you to her, or if that's something you think you might be interested in. But they
Yes.
would love to have you come out
I
and
would
introduce your
love,
program.
I love, I love collaboration. So
Yeah.
anytime there's an opportunity to identify resources that can benefit and serve our youth, I'm all excited. I'm looking forward to
Mhm.
connecting with who you're referring me to.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Deb.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, this is a awesome conversation that we're having right here on this piece. I used an intern through the Black Wall Street. I called and talked to Dr. Robert Carter last week, and when I told him about the event that I'm hosting Sunday, June 1st, the celebration of Legacy Luncheon, honoring spiritual mothers, fathers, mentors, and coaches, people who have poured into our lives. And I was telling about that, we're going to have vendors tables set up, and I definitely want the Black Wall Street to be represented there. So you're talking about collaboration and getting the word out and letting people know. I know that people would benefit, especially the leaders that are going to be at this luncheon, especially all of the pastors. We all need help. I use that intern, and whoever it was, I don't even know the person's name, but they did a remarkable job in putting together a press release for this event. I mean, they spoke it in words that I could have never expressed, but exactly what it is. And so this program will definitely work. Please have a table. Please be represented Sunday, June 1st at the Chateau Cristal, Westheimer and Gessner. The press release is out there on our events page on Black Wall Street. It's got a link to the website, tell you all the details about it. But the Black businesses, there's one way we can get it out to, and I wrote it down, social media groups. I'm going to pitch it, give me something, that I can pitch it to, our social media groups. That's a way to get the word out. And I'm sure a lot of Black businesses would definitely, be interested in helping, to support our youth, because so many programs have been cut and they're looking for ways, and just to be mentored, tutored. That is invaluable. I grew up in South Bend, Indiana. We had a Black-owned business there, still is there. I've been there for years. And they would bring in, let high school students. I was in high school and they let me work there. And that was just great experience. And so this is very exciting. I'm willing to work with you in any way that I can to help to get it out. One question, and then I'll pass the mic. Want to know if you have a portal, set up for these companies, to register, to sign up, to let you know that they're interested. Pastor John Gentry here, there's a lot of pastors that are very involved in community development and outreach who would definitely be interested in supporting it too. Pastor James Dixon, just a lot, and they'll be there at the luncheon as well. But do you have a portal where we could send to, a link to companies that like to our social media pages? I'm connected with some great groups, to let them know and get their interest. The students definitely, and I agree with you, they don't want to volunteer. I don't want to volunteer, to an extent, with these kind of organizations like this. But yeah, they want to get paid, and we got to provide a way.
What I'm going to do is I have a flyer, and we're well, I'm still working on the flyer because I want to put the ones who are at the table with creating this intern experience, because it's going to be something huge, something that they can see the fruits of their labor, because we're working with developers. So I envision creating a Black Wall Street district here in Houston, and working with building a physical building that we can have for Black Wall Street, and have different businesses that want to have their physical office space. We will have it here. We have some land that's identified. It's off of 288, and looking at acquiring the land, because right now it is Black owned, acquiring the land and actually building commercial space where we can conduct business and have our own office instead of having those co-oping space over at someone else and using it for our business because we don't have a physical location, but we will have our own community for us to conduct business, host meeting, and do different activities like that. So we will have a space where people can register to be businesses participating in the intern experience, as well as for those who are interested in being an intern student. So we will have that going out this week. The target is to get it out by Monday to get people signed up, and I'll share that with you as well.
Dr. Little, I just wanted to share my experience with CTE in Fort Worth. I got a hold to their video department, and they were able to make some reels for me for the conference that I had. And so when you're doing it through, especially when you're doing it through the school, it's a part of their assignment. And so that is something that will help get it done and focus, because you have a teacher that's there and to help them be able to do it. But it was a great experience with them. I went after they did, I went and gave them had pizza day. But you know, if you need videos recorded for your commercials and things like that, some of those programs have a studio at their school where and you got the cameras and you just go and pitch your business, and they'll make a commercial for you to post on social media. So it was a great experience. So that's definitely an option for businesses that don't necessarily have the money to afford a videographer that's maybe charging $500 or something like that, where, you know, you go and let the kids do it and treat them to some pizza.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing your experience, Ms. Karen. Anyone else?
Yeah, Karen, can you drop your contact information in the chat? Thank you.
All right,
I have to stop sharing my screen so I can put my email in the chat too. Before I forget. So you have my email. You say it was bouncing back? That's
Yeah,
it.
whatever's listed on the website, I think it was something in Texas, like something, but it kept bouncing back. I'll go and pull it up real quick.
Okay. Okay, Miss Manny, your hand is up. You have
You
something?
know what? I didn't know if I put my hand up, but I wanted to put my hand up, but I didn't do that. But anyway, I did want to ask a question. I don't know who was that last female speaker that was talking about a studio video. Well, who? I don't know everybody's. No one shows
That's
their
Miss
faces.
Reese talking
No
about
one
the,
shows their faces. To me, it looked like everybody should show their lovely, beautiful faces, but that's okay. That was Miss Reese. Okay, Karen.
yes.
Okay, I thought it was Miss Anderson. But anyway, I would like to know more about that video studio part. And also, I have a question for anybody that's out there. Our veterans organization, in particular me, I would love to have a administrative assistant. I do have some, but they're busy working, so they don't really have a lot of time to help me to really organize and get this program, veterans program, on the run, advance it further. So I'm asking, this is the question I'm asking anybody out there, would you happen to know of any, or how I can get in touch with a volunteer administrative assistant, one who's retired, one who knows the stuff. They just want to do something, volunteer their time or something like that to help our veterans organization advance. And also, if you happen to know of a licensed professional counselor that's kind of free and would like to volunteer their time, whether male or female, to help our veterans get their mental faculties restored. So again, I'm making a simple request: a volunteer for administrative assistant and a volunteer licensed professional counselor. If you happen to know anybody like that, or I can get in touch with them, please let me know. Dr. Little has all my information, so I appreciate it. if you
You
can
can
do
drop it in the chat as well, Mr. Manning, so that we all can
Okay,
just
good.
drop your information in the chat so we will have it.
Okay, dokie. Thank you.
And I see your question, Derek. I know I would love to if you want to do a workshop, maybe we can do that. We can do it online. I have those group of young African American male that parents have turned them over to me. Let me work with them. And like I told her, I can work with them on strategies, but I can't teach them how to be a man. So I think that would be a great thing, Derek, to host a workshop for them. Do you want to do it in person? Because I believe the personal stuff.
I'm not opposed to in person. I think from the expediency, let's consider one virtual, and then
Okay.
do another one that might lead into an in person. There will be some just the idea of time resource
Okay.
that I'll have to have just if I'm
Okay.
coming down there.
And let's
Um,
see how they engage virtually, and then see we can go from there. What do you
Yeah,
think?
no, listen, we can plan both of them. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, having a
Okay.
virtual just we can do quickly. I'm not. One, it could be with the parents, it could be with
Okay.
the students, it could be. I mean, I've got the one that I've called Planned Fatherhood, and I speak with men and young males, males, period, about
Mhm.
the responsibility of fatherhood if they're having sex. Um, and what comes with that. And so, as a facilitator, if there are other people who are around, I do these. I do it from a professional development standpoint. I do it from a personal standpoint. I work with executives to inmates. Like so,
Mhm.
the core messaging is the same. If you just got someone who's willing to listen, I'm willing to speak with them from churches. And so, if it is, I know you're based in Houston, right?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll come. I mean, we're saying pretty much southeast. I'm willing to come there. Just let's make it. You know, I'm not. I don't think worth it is but let's plan it out
Okay.
to make sure that we make impact. There's some resources that I have as well in that area that we can maybe cross pollinate with. But overall, if you got someone who's willing to listen and go through some of these workshops and some of these programs that I have developed, I'm
Mhm.
never going to be opposed to doing that.
Okay. Well, I like to, when you say we're gonna do something, let's go ahead, put a date for the virtual. Look at your calendar. Tell me your availability.
Derek, Dr. Little is gonna be down here next week, so we might can do a meetup in person. Then and
Sure will.
further it out.
Okay, that'll work. In fact, yeah, that'll work. And I mean, I'll be honest. Let's commit. Let's do one of our Saturdays, Black Wall Street
Okay.
meetings, and
Yeah,
invite them to that.
sure will. You only
Right.
said a word for me to.
Let's utilize the resources and the infrastructure that we currently have, and now
Okay.
let's make this a family situation. Let's bring these gentlemen on here, and if you're not opposed, I would. We can go through our normal traditional meeting,
Okay.
and if it's just 15 minutes or just 20 minutes, whatever that time is, we can do that. After our meeting or before our meeting or whatever, and however we need to do it.
Well, we could just schedule it and schedule the workshop right after our meeting because our meeting is only an hour.
Okay,
And we'll schedule them like from 10 to 11 for the
sounds
workshop.
right. You know what? Let's do 10 to 10:45.
Okay, 10 to 10:45.
Hmm.
Well, we'll block the window 11 for question and whatnot.
For sure. And then let's just talk about um, let's center it around the future Black Wall Street. Let me give me one moment. I'm thinking through
Okay.
Black Wall Street. Like, yeah, we'll before we get off, I'll drop something there. But basically, we're talking about just the future, the Black Wall Street future,
Okay.
and just and just basically anyone who wants to learn and facilitate this is what we can do. But yeah, we'll come up with the accoutrements of that.
Okay. All right. Well,
Excuse me, what day are you talking about next week?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to
I'm
next
talking
week.
about next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
I'm
hold
talking
on, give
about
me one
next,
moment. Next week, you said,
wait a minute,
I got
next
11
Saturday,
o'clock.
the 29th. Let me see, I committed to speaking. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
look at that
I'm speaking
Saturday.
to.
I'm gonna be speaking at this church. Let me see what time she says. I just committed to that. Okay, I can do it. Well, that meeting is from 11 to 1, and I have to travel. So
Well,
I still
listen.
can do it because I'm not hosting. I'll just put you in my ear.
Well, here's my challenge. I do have previously, I have an in-person 11 o'clock here.
Okay, let's
So
schedule it for April 4th. I mean, not the 4th. What's that following Saturday?
April 5th.
April 5th. Yeah, let's make
Yeah.
it that day.
Gotcha. Let's do that. And let's keep it just, I think one, as we invite people, invite your family members. Hey, we got this special, giving less details about these types of things allows them to come into it without any preconceived expectations. So, hey, listen, this is an important call. I want you to be on. This is talking about your future.
Okay.
And I think the idea of, we're planning, yeah, let's just get them on in the most simple way. Because really overselling it becomes yeah, we don't have to oversell it. Let's just
Okay,
get
well,
who needs
I'm
to be
just
on.
putting it as future interns is what I'm calling with these boys I'm inviting to it.
Perfect.
Okay. Future interns.
That's good.
And I put it down for 10 a.m. on April 5th. Now, I may invite these other business. Well, no, let me keep it to the kids. We're
No,
just
no,
gonna.
listen, Dr. Little, invite
What?
everyone.
Okay.
Because the same thing we telling these kids is the same thing we telling these grown folks. They just got more years.
Okay. So I'll invite, I'm just gonna call it future interns, send out the email. Let's see who shows up. But I'm gonna push those boys to be in the space.
Absolutely. And if you want to tell them, we're
Anyone?
gonna teach them how to make six figures.
Okay.
Like because these strategies work. It just takes time. You can make all the money. You just can't make all the money at one time.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And I'm smiling. I really appreciate y'all for just kind of let me just kind of blab and talk and brainstorm and share.
Well,
Um,
that's how
I,
you get things done.
Yeah, and my hope is that you continue to experience my intention. And even when it may be confusing or feel uncomfortable, just know I love everybody and you can't do nothing about it.
Okay. All right. And just notice here too, I use all resources with good intention to help my community, the kids that I'm around. It's all about our youth. I'm passionate about sharing it with the kids because they are our future. And that's where my heart comes. And I'm God driven, led, all that. Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't be like, no, I'm just gonna move out the way. But I can't because God leads me in the path that I'm walking. Alrighty, y'all. I'm a little bit over today. I apologize. And I do have to get off and get to another meeting and event. Gosh, I gotta Zoom and need to Zoom over to the event. Thank you. You have something you want to say, Mr. Larry, before we
No, I'm
leave?
saying bye. I'm saying bye. I'm
All
sorry.
right, y'all.
Bye.
It was a wonderful
All
session.
right. Thank you.
Y'all be
Thank you.
amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Blessings, everybody.